The movie begins with the narration about the current situation of the Earth. A boy named Joel Dawson says that his life was normal, until one day when a huge asteroid named Agatha 616 was heading straight to Earth. Humanity united and sent several rockets into space to combat the asteroid. They succeeded, and the asteroid was destroyed. However, the explosion also destroyed all the rockets, causing its radioactive elements to rain back to the Earth's surface. The chemical fallout caused all cold-blooded animals, such as frogs and snails, to mutate into large, aggressive monsters. After that, to be safe from the mutated monsters, people started living inside the safe places like underground bunkers and caves with all openings closed. They started calling the places colonies. 7 years later, Joel, now age 24, lives in one of many underground bunkers called colonies. He always feels lonely inside the bunker and says that his life is not normal. Inside there, the people have started their own lifestyle which is completely different from what it used to be before. The other survivors, except for Joel, have romantically paired up with each other while fighting monsters and scavenging for supplies. Inside the place, they grow some vegetables using the little light that gets in. They also tend a cow for their necessary dairy supply and hunt for food whenever they get out. In the next scene, it is revealed that during the evacuation after the apocalypse, a teenage Joel was separated from his girlfriend Amy, but he promised to find her. Joel is assigned to work as a cook, as he is notorious for freezing in dangerous situations, and is considered a liability, as Joel is the only single guy inside the colony. He passes his time doing target practice. One day, during his practice, he notices a rumbling sound right above their bunker, and alarms everyone. The team immediately decides to exit and kill the monster but leave Joel behind with some other people who can't fight. While the fighting team is out, others watch the movements on a monitor and see one of the members getting killed by the monster. Seeing this, Joel decides he's had enough and sets off with just a crossbow to help his friends. There, he notices a large creature in front of him attacking his friend, but cannot move an inch in fear. The creature is about to attack Joel, but luckily one of the members arrives in time to kill the monster and save him. We are then taken into the flashback from 7 years ago, when the asteroid was destroyed by the help of rockets. Joel is in his car hanging out with his girlfriend Amy. He draws an awful picture of Amy, despite which she gifts him a box of colors. As they start to kiss and are about to get intimate with each other, an emergency alarm goes off around the city. The remains of the rockets fall back on the Earth, creating great explosions. The two then drive back to their home quickly, where they see everyone packing their bags to leave for the safe place. It's the day when the two hug each other for the last time. In the next scene, we see Joel, still drawing the monsters he noticed in those 7 years with the same drawing tools Amy gifted him before. He also talks with Amy by the help of the radio station he has. During their conversation, the call gets disconnected midway due to a weak signal. Other team members are seen mourning over the death of the team members. Joel then has a flashback of the day of the apocalypse where he and Amy embraced each other the last time, and comes up with a feeling of uniting with her. He expresses his feelings to reunite with Amy in one of the team meetings, but everyone warns him about the dangerous journey, and also his weakness in dangerous situations. They mention that Amy's colony is about 85 miles away, and it will take him at least a week to get there. Ignoring their suggestions and warnings, Joel decides to reunite with his love and starts packing his belongings. Reluctantly, the other survivors decide to help him out. They give him a map and a crossbow despite their fear that he will not survive. After getting all his things ready, Joel heads out. For the first time in 7 years, Joel is out in the sunlight breathing fresh air. He then takes out the map and starts studying it before setting out on his journey. However, he is unable to determine the directions and heads randomly. Passing through the suburbs, he finds some monster eggs but tries to remain calm and moves forward. Later, Joel hears a sound and enters a nearby house. There, he encounters a giant toad monster who attacks him with its tongue, making him fall on the ground. Suddenly, a dog comes near Joel out of nowhere. After various attempts, the toad catches Joel by his leg and drags him towards its mouth. However, the dog bites the tongue of the toad and Joel is saved. Joel then follows the dog to a minivan where he spends the night. It seems to be the dog's home. Joel then sees boy written in various places and assumes it to be the dog's name. Next day, Joel draws the drawing of the dog in his notebook and thanks him for saving his life. Joel resumes his journey, but boy follows him with his owner's blanket in his mouth. Joel keeps the blanket in his backpack, and with boy, he walks towards his destination. On the way, the two become best friends and Joel tells him everything about his life. When Joel is about to eat some poisonous berries, boy warns him against it and other dangers. On their way, Joel falls into a nest of worm monsters called sand gobblers. He tries to get out of it but fails, despite several attempts. Right then, 2 survivors, Clyde Dutton and his adopted daughter Minnow, arrive at the place and rescue him with the help of a rope. They kill the remaining monsters by tossing explosives inside the hole. After that, they introduce themselves and mention that the 2 are heading north to the mountains, where the colder weather and higher elevation means fewer monsters. Joel decides to follow them along with Boy until their path departs. They teach Joel some basic survival skills like how to fight, sense danger, and find food. Later, while all of them are getting along, Clyde suddenly tells Joel not to move as a monster is behind him. He asks Joel to take out his shirt, but it takes him some time because of his panic attack. Clyde then inserts Joel's shirt inside the giant snail's shell, telling that the snail will now help them to be away from another monster named Chumbler. Minnow also shows Joel that not all monsters are hostile, demonstrating how one can always tell from their eyes. Spending some days together, Clyde teaches him how to look out for the monsters, and Minnow assists him for his targeting skills. The pair invite Joel to stay with them, but Joel insists that he must find Amy, his teenage love. As they part ways, Clyde gifts Joel with a grenade and suggests to use it only when it is necessary. As Joel continues west, Boy seems terrified as if he has sensed some danger. Boy immediately hides under a boat, and Joel runs after him. Joel then notices some tentacles emerging out from the ground and grabs his crossbow to attack the monster centipede. Attacked by a giant centipede monster, Joel freezes and remembers his parents getting crushed by a giant monster's feet. After having seen losing his parents, Joel now feels he cannot lose Boy. After gathering a lot of courage, he eventually shoots the centipede and kills it with his crossbow, saving Boy. At night, it starts to rain and they take shelter in an abandoned motel. There they meet a damaged cyborg named Mavis. Joel is aware about how to use the robot as he had used them while in the bunker. Before his battery dies, Mavis agrees to power Joel's radio long enough to briefly contact Amy, where he learns that new survivors have reached her colony, promising to lead them away to safety. As Mavis still has some power left, he sits outside with Joel listening to his parents' story. He then shows some pictures of his parents and Joel gets emotional seeing this. With this sweet moment, Mavis' battery dies and Joel sets onto his journey to meet Amy. The next day, Joel and Boy are attacked by a queen sand gobbler. Clyde had warned him about it being the most dangerous of the all monsters. While running away, Joel falls down but manages to take Boy and hides behind a tree trunk. Joel also shuts Boy's mouth as the creature is very sensitive to sound. Thinking that there is no one around, the sand gobbler starts to return back. Just then, Boy barks as he sees the blanket of his previous owner flying away, giving away their position. The creature again chases them, but Joel manages to kill the queen with the grenade and jumps into the river. He then yells at Boy for putting their life in danger. After swimming across a river, Joel is covered in poisonous leeches and starts to hallucinate from their venom. He swallows some leaves as an antidote, as suggested by Clyde. Out of nowhere, Amy appears there and Joel wakes to finally see her. Joel is extremely delighted to meet Amy, but is again unconscious because of the poison from leeches. He regains his consciousness inside Amy's colony, where she leads a beach colony of elderly survivors who all depend on her. Joel is introduced to the new survivors, led by Cap, a former Royal Australian Navy sailor who has managed to procure an old yacht. As everyone celebrates their imminent departure, Amy confesses she is glad to see Joel, but has no romantic interest in him as she is still mourning the death of someone close to her. Hearing this from Amy, a devastated Joel realizes that Amy cannot love him the way she used to before and decides to return to his colony. Joel contacts his previous colony members on the radio, learning that it has become unsafe to stay there and that they too must leave soon. He takes out the map that his team handed him and finds some sweet and heartfelt messages written all over it. Joel then realizes that it is the team where he truly belongs and decides to head back to his colony. Later, Joel notices something odd in the berries served to him by Cap. He browses through the drawings in his notebook and confirms the berries to be poisonous. He then runs out to warn Amy, realizing Cap is not to be trusted, but gets knocked out by a punch. When he gains his consciousness, he finds himself, Amy, and the rest of her colony tied up on the beach. Cap reveals that he and his crew are actually pirates who raid colonies for food and fuel. He says that his yacht is towed to the place with the help of a giant crab. He summons a crab monster rigged with a makeshift electric collar to eat the colonists. Meanwhile, Joel and Amy escape their bonds and charge at the pirates. Boy returns and saves Amy, who steals a hand cannon from one of the pirates. Joel is about to kill the crab, but he determines that the monster is not hostile by looking into its eyes, and instead uses the cannon to destroy the electric collar which was controlling it. The crab leaves Joel unharmed and sinks the yacht, devouring Cap and the pirates. In the next scene, Joel recommends Amy and her colony to head north. They share a romantic goodbye kiss, and Amy promises she will find him. Joel gives her a book containing all of his survival knowledge and treks all the way back to his colony. When Joel reaches home, his colony members are extremely happy to see him back alive. Joel then persuades his members to head towards the mountains as they are tired of hiding undergrounds. On the radio, Joel sends a message to other colonies, sharing his experiences so they will also be ready to leave and meet back at the surface. As everyone heads north, Clyde and Minnow, already in the mountains, wonder if Joel